Turn up. Turn up. I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. All this stuff I done dealt with. I can't help it. I can't help it. All this stuff I done dealt with. All this stuff I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help it. All this stuff I done dealt with.
What's up, family? Good day, good afternoon, man. Good morning to some, good afternoon to others, man. We are back. The Game Changer family is back, man. Listen, man, we are excited on today. I got my brother sitting back. He's in his other uniform. He's in his other God-given talent, his other God-given calling, his other God-given perspective on life, something that God has gifted him, one of those buried treasures that was deep inside that came out but had to be polished off again like fine gold, man. You know, every now and then we take some gold, we put it in the drawer, D-Dot. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then we go back and, you know what?
Let me pull that out.
Let me pull that out. You know what I mean? And so, man, what a blessing it is to be back with you all, family, man. Listen, if you know this Game Changer International, Game Changer Ministry, man, we told you it's a dynamic, man. It's growing. And if you hey, we're gonna keep telling you.
Hey, tell them one more again, though. Tell them one more again today.
Hey, if you don't get in today, you might can't get in tomorrow.
Come on, man. Listen. Before you go any further, D-Wayne, drop, man, what we are doing. Drop what we're doing, man, so they know. So they know that we're not playing.
Okay. Well, first of all, God ain't playing with us.
Come on.
So we can't play with what He's given us. So, man, listen. If you haven't noticed, there's a new page. It's been going on for about 6 months now, called Game Changer International. This is our consulting firm that God has gave us a vision on, in order to help, to support our ministry, right? He's taken each of our individual God-given talents, allowing us to go out individually and collectively and do what we have called to do with our natural skills. My brother, naturally, he is a fitness coach. I am naturally leadership development. Tanita's naturally a consultant as far as connectivity. Shanika's naturally gifted in health, in understanding the healthy aspects of your body, as far as how to treat certain things, you know, because she's what's that title, brother?
FNP, family nurse practitioner.
Family nurse practitioner.
Board certified.
Board certified family nurse practitioner. You got Simon Steele, who naturally works in finances. You got Dr. Tanika Mao, who naturally works in counseling. That's what her proficiency is. That's what his proficiency is. And so, man, listen, we're growing, and God has given us another way to generate what we need to generate in order to keep the ministry going. You know what I mean? Me and my brother always said that we didn't want to be out here, you know, asking or you know, we're willing to receive what God intends for us to receive, but we don't want to beg for nothing. You know what I'm saying? For what God has us to do. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we see a lot of things that's going on. We see a lot of things that can could block, you know what I'm saying, where we're going based off of what's the word. But we know that God, you know, the scripture says when the woman asked who was that when he said, what's in your house? Who did she ask? Oh my goodness. Well, what's in your house, right? We know what's in our house. I apologize, I had a brain fart. But we know what's in our house, so we're utilizing what's in our house, which created Game Changer International, which you see that we're all a part of with our individual gifts and talents. So, man, we are here today, family, to talk about my brother, Daniel MacArthur Dotson, joyfully known as D-Dot, as he rebrands, reestablishes, reintroduces himself as coach. You know what I mean? As he's been a coach for many years, not only to kids in their field of games, but with adults with physical fitness training. D-Dot, just give us a little background. When did you start GeTFiT Challenge? Just start right there. When did you start it? How did you start it? Where did it come about?
Man, you know, it's an amazing story. GeTFiT Challenge started in the hospital. My father, Samuel L. Dotson, I forget what was going on, but he was in the hospital. And as we were in the hospital, God began to speak to me in reference to GeTFiT Challenge. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was birthed back in 2016. It's a full LLC. Um, 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 it I lost my train of thought, but it was birthed in 2016, not a full LLC, but I am a certified in what I do, and I have all of my legitimacy as far as documentations for GeTFiT Challenge and what I do. But it was started in 2016 for the need of just being healthy and fit. So many people want to work out for the wrong reason. And so as I was in the hospital, God began to deal with me in reference to my own health, and what was required. And in that, he gave me what I call my 5 C's, which are my.
Oh,
I'm,
hold on 1 second before you get there.
I'm not-
I gotta ask you a question. Hold on, I gotta ask you a question, brother. So you were in the hospital.
no, I wasn't in the hospital. My father was in
Okay.
the hospital. I was up there just in support because it wasn't nothing major. It was just something in general. I can't remember what it was. Um,
So God gave you a vision of a healthier lifestyle while you was in an area that often puts us in a place when we're not living such a conducive lifestyle.
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Um, Before we jump into your fives,
Okay.
right? I got a couple more questions.
All right.
Right.
Come
So
on.
so D dot, you've been gone for a while. You said it started in 2016.
hmm
Um, where have you been, brother? Where has
So
GeTFiT been?
so GetFit has always been doing what GetFit do. All right.
Okay.
Now, what happened to me? Unfortunately, I had two minor setbacks. I had broke. I had a boxer's break on my right hand,
Mm-hmm.
which put me down for a little while. But but then I turned around and broke my leg, my left leg. I broke the front and the back of my left leg and shattered my ankle. So that put me out of commission for a while. I'm
Mm,
just now getting back to the point where I'm medically cleared to exercise again. But behind the scenes, God has been perfecting what I started talking about earlier. And I'm not going to go into them right now, but I'm going to mention it again. Those 5 C's. Even in my downtime, God was perfecting in those 5 C's that He gave me as my pillar for my program for the program that he gave me for GeTFiT Challenge. And there are
okay.
5 pillars,
Mm-hmm.
five
So did
C's.
before we get into, I got one question for you. Jump into your 5 C's.
Okay.
Why are you back? What is it that call GeTFiT back to the forefront to say, okay, you know what, it's time. I know you're healed,
hmm
right? But what makes you say, okay, it's time now?
Great question. Um, Earlier, I said, people have different reasonings for wanting to be fit, wanting to work out, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get fit is a lifestyle. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
fad. It's not trending. It's not something that just comes and go. It's a lifestyle. And so that's what's so unique about it because it's a lifestyle. And
Okay.
this is the most amazing part about it, right? I'm not going to give you the
Mm-hmm.
5 C's yet, but I'm going to say this. With those 5 pillars, the 5 C's that God gave me for Get Fit, for fitness, you can place those 5 C's in any area in your life and see change.
Mm.
So this doesn't just transcend into fitness. This transcends to life. So it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's an ongoing process that you will really never complete. But as you hit your goals, you as you hit your different goals in life, you'll see different changes in life. So it's not a destination. It's a journey.
Oh man. Okay. So listen, D Dot, we don't talked enough about those 5 C's. I know you're ready. You're ready. You rub your hands. You're ready to get into it. Um, about those 5 C's, family. If you have any questions during the time of this, please type them in, and we'll get to them and answer them as we go through. Like I said, my brother has been doing this for a while. He has seen a lot of transformation in his life and a lot of other people's life. And so, if you go and check out his page, there are some testimonies you can go and check out. You can see some result-driven work that he has. I'm just going to add on this. He has a trailer. He will pull up on you Or you can pull up where he has to go, and he's done it in the park, he's done it in the day, he's done it in the dark, he did it in the
Come on.
backyard. And
Come
I
on.
mean, so whatever you got to go. But listen, family, we finna get ready to jump into what my brother called the 5 C's of GeTFiT. The 5 C's of GeTFiT. So D Dot, I'm pass it over to you because you have the control on the slide on your
Okay.
side, and I'm gonna sit back and get in where I fit in, bro.
Okay. So can you set it up for me? Like,
I put it
with,
put it
yeah.
in.
Well, let
I
me
got
let me
you.
say this before I go into that. So, what I love about GetFit is I'm mobile. It's a mobile. I'm a mobile. Um. Okay. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. I'm a mobile gym, meaning I can bring that box gym, whether it's Gold's Gym, Planet Fitness, whatever gym you like. I have that same type of equipment that I can bring to you and set up. Um, as a matter of fact, I will go a step further and say the equipment that I have and that I used was is actually better because I used a lot of equipment that use shock. And what I mean by that, shock resistance. It's the same type of equipment that most rehabilitation centers use. And what they established and what they understood was not putting too much stress on your joints and ligaments. Because see, I'm big on safety and I'm big on doing something right, right? So with that being said, let me go ahead and get this thing started. So the 5 C's would no longer wait. The 5 C's that I built, that God gave me to build my business off of, are is commitment, consistency, challenge, coachable, and confidence. I left one out. I'm sorry. I'm like, hold on, that's 4, but
That's
it's
four.
5. It's 5. That was my hey, how I say my bad, your fault.
Your fault.
So it's
Yep.
5 C's. So I'll correct that slide. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, that's 4. But yeah, let me say it again. Commitment, consistency, challenge, coachable, and confidence. Those are the 5 C's. Now we're gonna break this thing down and we're gonna move. I'm gonna move at the pace that God allowed me to move at, right? So the first thing is first. The first two are commitment and consistency. Those are the very first two. I'm gonna stop right there because without those two, none of the other C's are gonna happen, right? The other three, whether it's coachable, challenge, and confidence, those can be interchangeable in any place in there. But the first two that you have to establish are commitment and consistency. So let's break this thing down. Commitment. What is commitment, right? By definition, commitment is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity, right? Commitment. I often share this. When I take on clients, one thing about me, I don't just take on anybody. That's the unique thing about me. We'll sit down and do a consult. Um, because it amazed me that how many people I actually work with that actually have trainers and coaches before, but they never did any measurements. And so, my question to them was, well, how were you able to gauge where you are and where you was trying to go if you never do any measurement? So that was one of the first things that we did. We sat down, we had a consult, and in that consult, I first see where your mind is, right? Where your mind is when it pertains to your fitness. Your reply to the questions that I asked, it helped me to see where you were. Because truth be told, a lot of times we have real unrealistic expectations. That was one thing that would cause people to fail. The second thing that would cause people, that's the second thing that would cause people to fail. The third thing, I'm gonna go back to the first in a minute. The third thing that would cause people to fail, unmeasurable goals. When they make goals that they can't measure, that they don't know where they started from, so they can't see where they were going to, right? Now, let's go back to the first thing that causes people to fail, not just in fitness, but like I said, these 5 C's are interchangeable in life. The first thing that causes people to fail is not being committed. Let that sink in for a second. Not being committed. How many times have you said, let's use this analogy. How many New Year's resolutions have you started with, I'm gonna get in the gym? And every time you make that New Year's resolution, not even by the end of the month, you've already fallen off. Why is that? It's not because the gyms were closed. It's not because there was a lack of gyms. It's because of your lack of commitment to what you wanted to do. So my theory was God showed me this. He said, Daniel, and I always say this, and I got this. Actually, my wife taught me this through God, and then God began to deal with me on this. And what my wife shared with me was this right here. And then God began to elaborate and deal with me directly on it. He says, if I can change your mind, I'll change your world. If I can change your mind, I will change your world. Well, how does that relate to commitment? Galatians 6:9 encourages believers not to grow weary in doing good, assuring them that they will reap a harvest if they persevere. It highlighted the importance of consistent, faithful actions and warns against the dangers of discouragement and giving up. The verse emphasizes that spiritual growth and positive outcomes requires, don't miss this part, ongoing efforts and steadfastness, even when facing challenges. So let's stop right there. We're talking about commitment, right? What are you committed to when it comes to changing your health? What are you willing to do when it comes to your health? And see, a lot of times, truth be told, we think that a lot of people think that they can eat whatever they want to eat, drink whatever they want to drink, go to the gym, work out about 5 hours, and go back home, and they good. Truth be told, one, it doesn't take 5 hours. Your workouts, if you're strategic about your workouts, all you need is a good 45 minutes. That's it. 45 minutes. But yet we'll eat what we want to eat and then go in the gym and put in about 2 hours thinking that I'm good because I ate what I wanted to eat, but I went to this gym and I just worked out for 2 hours. So I just burned off everything that I put in, right? Wrong. What you got?
So I want to ask a question. When you said that I can eat what I want to eat and go work out for about 2 or 3 hours, I remember at a time in my life I could.
Mm-hmm.
Does that play a role with, age and, what I'm saying, with, with age? Because I felt like, and this is just me feeling, I remember when we was working out in high school, and I remember being, still a young adult and going in and eating how I wanted to eat and go to gym. And, I go to gym 2 hours and go do what else I want to do, but still was full of energy. Should that mindset also change? Should it change? I know you say it's not realistic, but would you say that mindset should change as we get older on how that looks like far as the food we take in and the amount of time we should be working out?
Okay. See that's a loaded question. And the reason why I say it's a loaded question, and it's just like I tell people when they come to me, I don't have everybody on the same program because one, everybody's body is different. Mm-hmm. Everybody's bodies react to certain things differently. Like you said, when we were younger, I was able to go and eat whatever I wanted to eat because my metabolism was so fast. I would burn it off anyway. So most of the times, truth be told, if you have a fast metabolism, truth be told, a lot of times you're really not putting enough calories. Your caloric intake is really not where it should be. So that's the reason for one why you can do that, because you're not eating the proportions that you should already. And so you can keep eating stuff like that, and it's going to burn it out because you have a fast metabolism. So, but the flip side to that is, what about the people that don't have a fast metabolism, right?
Mm.
What about the people that if they smell pizza, they gain 5 pounds? They eat it, they don't gain 20. Whereas you and I used to, back in those days, you and I eat 2-3 boxes of pizzas and wouldn't gain a pound. But each person's body is different. And so as we get older, most of the times what happens is the metabolism slows down, right? One of the things that I told people is I was completely against diet. I was against dieting. I was against keto diets. I was against all of that. And let me break down and share with you why. Now, we're going to get back on this commitment in a second. But let me share with you why. When you're doing that keto diet, you send your body into what they call ketosis, right? Basically, you're sustaining yourself from certain things, right? And so since you're sustaining yourself from certain things, you instantly going to lose weight. But here's my question. What happens when you reintroduce yourself to the things that you was once sustaining from? You blow back up. That's why you see people doing it, not doing it, doing it, not doing it. And that's the same. And even when it comes to dieting, see, the body's going to do one or two things. When you go on a diet, or what we call a diet, what your body ends up doing is it holds on to everything that you put in it, because the body is so amazing and it's so smart. Because what happens, your body's saying, hey, you're starving me, I'm hungry, you're not feeding me, I'm not eating properly or when I need to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold on to everything. I'm not letting nothing go because I don't know when you're gonna feed me again. So that is why I was against diets. Now, what I was against is proportion eating. And let me break that down. See, when you realign your metabolism and it works like it's supposed to work, it gets whatever it needs out of the food that you put in your body, and then it pushes it out. That's the working order, how the body is supposed to work. It's supposed to hold on to it, get what it needs from it, pushes out. Most people's bodies don't do that. One, because they have underlying ailments. Two, they have eating deficiencies where where they eat completely improper. And then three, they have medical concerns or issues that prevent the body from doing that, right? The goal is to naturally get the body back to functioning how it's supposed to function. And when you eat 5 meals, that's breakfast, a snack, lunch, a snack, and dinner. And sometimes, depending on what time you eat your dinner, you can have a snack even before bedtime, depending on, long as it's not too late. But that's how we're supposed to do it, along with drinking water, 2.6 ounces of water per pound. That'll let you know how much water you should be consuming. And so when we're eating proportion, we're drinking enough water, the body will realign itself and the metabolism will jumpstart itself to start functioning how it's supposed to function. And now we can introduce ourselves to working out, to doing something to either for gains, tones, or losing weight. But a lot of times we have everything backwards, and we think that just working out 5 hours a day in the gym is going to fix everything. And it doesn't. There's a lot that goes into being healthy and fit. There's a lot that goes into knowing your body and knowing how to get your body to respond. So with that being said, let us go into this. Let us go deeper into this this 5C. So as you see on the screen, it says again, we're coming from Galatians 6 and 9. And let me read it real quick one more again, because I didn't read it. I kind of elaborated on it. And this is what it says. It says, and let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart, right? Let us not grow weary. This phrase emphasizes that weariness is doing good. It is a common struggle. Weariness in doing good is a common struggle in believers, period. It suggests that discouragement and fatigue can also creep in, leading to loss of motivation and a desire to quit. We're talking about commitment, right? See, this is why you have to be committed to not just looking fine and gaining muscles, and you got to be committed to a healthy, fit lifestyle, because you're going to go through, as the scripture 6:9, as Galatians 6:9 said, you're going to go through a common struggle that you're going to have discouraged. You're going to be discouraged. You're going to have fatigue. You're going to lose motivation. But all of those things should not determine your commitment to your health, to your fitness, to your end goal. And see, this is why we have to have realistic goals that are measurable. This is why you have to take measurements of your body so you'll know exactly where you are. So now, I tell people all the time, one of the biggest things that people say, whether it's a male or female, I want to lose such and such pounds by this date. And let me give you this, because I got a wedding coming up. Right?
That's right.
And let me say this. Let me ask this question. Which one is heavier? 150 pounds of muscle or 150 pounds of fat? Which one is heavier? Which one you think, Marco? D1? Muscle? You think muscle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me ask another question then. Which one is heavier? 50 pounds of feather or 50 pounds of lead?
Both the same.
That's the same. And it's the same with the first question too. Muscle, 150 pounds of muscle and 150 pounds of fat. They're the same. But in our mind, it's different. But here's the key. Watch this. 150 pounds of muscle looks different than 150 pounds of fat. So what I used to tell people, don't get caught up in a number. Get caught up in what your body feels and looks like. Because like I said, most women, they have a number that they want to get in their head. And they be like, I want to be 150 pounds. And they may start out, let's just hypothetically say they starting out at 200. No, let's say they starting out at 220 and they want to get down to 150. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know what I always ask them? I say, well, let me ask you a question. How do you know that 175 pounds or 180 pounds fit is not where you need to be? Because see, you never been there before. So you got something in your mind that you really don't even know what it looks like, but you have an ideal of what you think you want it to look like. And believe it or not, most of my clients, when they started losing weight, when they got to a certain weight, like let's say if they was 200 and something pounds, when they got down to like 180 pounds, most of them was like, hey, I'm fine right here. I want to stay right here. This is what I want. And that was my whole point. The point that I was trying to get them to understand is you don't know what you really want to look like because you've never been at this weight, healthy and fit. So when we talk about being committed, we have to understand that there are certain things that are going to come to distract you from that. Just like as we start in this fitness journey, when I put this program together, right? You're going to start going through this program. You're going to have some aches. You're going to have some soreness. Your body is going to, because you're probably utilizing muscles that you never utilized before. There's a difference between being sore and hurting. Soreness is to be expected. Soreness doesn't last for weeks. Hurting may last for weeks. That means either one or two things. We need to tweak what we're doing, or you need to find a different exercise, because that's not a conducive exercise to your body chemistry or to your body set. Let me give you an example. One thing that I cannot do is that wheel. You know that wheel that works your abs?
Ab
You
wheel.
roll out.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, it hurts my lower back. I've tried tried every type of modifications to that exercise, and what I've come up with is it's just not for me. It's just not for me. And see, that's what we have to learn and be okay with. Because I see people just going, they be going straight, going this way, going that way. You know, I see people killing it. And I'm like, oh man. And I know it's a great workout because it activates all of that. But for me, before I activate all of that, what does it activate? It burns my lower back up. It wears it out. And so I can't do it. But that's okay. Because guess what? How we say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to get those results that you're trying to get than to use that wheel, if you can't use that wheel. And that's the other part about having a knowledgeable coach. Because most trainers, when they take on clients, their mission is, I'm going to break your body down and I'm going to hurt you. Because people socialize pain with growth. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. What God showed me, I can get just as much out of a person by doing it in proper portions, right? In proper portions, and not hurting their body, but they may have some sore. They may be, have a little soreness because they utilize the muscles, but it's not hurting them. And like I tell them, if you're hurting, stop. But if you're sore, you can stretch. You can apply heat. You can apply ice. There are different methods that you can do to soothe that itch. But if you're hurting, you can cancel Christmas. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, so you dropped the old notion: pain is weakness leaving the body.
Pain is weakness leaving the body. That's what we say. But again, I don't have to break your body down to get it to respond.
Right.
That's old. That's religion. That's religion. The concept is, if you do anything long enough, you will get results. Whether you do it right or do it wrong. Think about that. You could do squats, and you could be doing them. And I've corrected people several times, many of times, with squats. Just minor little foot placement, and it took the stress off their back and put it on their glutes and where it's supposed to be. And they're like, and you would be surprised at how quick their reps, the number of their reps or the weight that they could do went up. Because my whole, like I told you earlier, my whole philosophy is about doing it correct and doing it right. Because see, when you do something wrong, there's a potential to getting injured. And an injury causes setbacks. Because most of the time when a person get injured, what do? They stop doing what they're doing.
They quit.
When trainers blast those bodies, the average person within a week fall off. Whereas before they used to answer the call on the first time, they go from answering on the third or the fifth call to not answering at all, because now they're trying to elude the trainer. Because now they just say, you know what, I thought I was ready, but I wasn't ready. And that's what they say. I thought I was ready. So remember earlier what I said, if I can change this, if I can change your mind, I can change your world. So you have to have the right perspective, even going into changing your body in fitness for healthy and fit purposes. You have to have the right mindset. You have to look at it from, and what's amazing about the 5 C's, and we're dealing with commitment right now. We're going through Galatians. What's amazing about it is everything is linked to the spiritual. Everything is linked to the spiritual. What we have to learn to do is how to get it out of it, how to pull out what I need in fitness from the spiritual aspect of it. And that's where we're going through these 5 seasons. Right now, we're just diving in on Galatians 6 and 9. And so in doing good, this refers to the various acts of service, kindness, and obedience to God's will that Christians are called to engage in. So, in other words, as a trainer, I'm gonna give you homework assignments. I'm gonna give you at home. If I'm pulling up on you, or we're meeting in the park, or we're meeting in a gym, or whatever, outside of that, I'm gonna give you some things that I need you to do on your own. And the reason why I do that, Marco, is because I know that when I'm with you, you're gonna give me your 100 because I just have that personality and that charisma to know how to get it out of you. But the problem is when you're on your own, the dedication that you have, the commitment. Are you committed to it?
You got
When you're by
integrity.
yourself, come on. When you're by yourself, when nobody's watching, are you going to give me them 10 reps, or are you going to do 8 because nobody's there counting but you? But in Galatians, it tells us that we have to stay the course. We have to become obedient to the process, to the program, to the procedure, to what we have agreed to. We have to commit to it. And we have to not allow "I'm tired" to deter you from doing what you're supposed to do. And we can't allow one bad day to turn into a year. And that's another thing that we, with being committed, that's one of the we beat ourselves up with this. I know that I'm supposed to work out 5 days a week, right? I done missed 2 days. So I'm gonna try to double up. I'm gonna try to triple up. I'm gonna try to do whatever I can to make it up. And what I used to tell people is don't worry about it. If you miss that 1 day, if you miss that 2 day, don't worry about it. But don't let it go more than 3. And this is the thing. If you miss that 1 day, it's okay. If you miss that 2 day, it's okay. Just when you start, just pick back up doing what you were normally doing. Don't try to triple up. Don't try to double up. Don't try to do, because see what that does is when you don't measure up and hit those marks, it pushes you further out of scope of the set goal. And now you feel like, man, I done already failed. I done fell off already. I done missed the mark already. And so what we end up doing is when we try to double up and triple up, we end up doing ourselves a disservice. And we end up falling completely off at that point. So again, when you decide to start, if you have a hiccup here or there, don't, and I'm not telling you it's okay, but it is okay as long as you get back up and get back on it. And like I said, don't try to make up, just do what your program called for. Just pick back up with where the program, where you left off at. Don't worry about doubling up, tripling up, and all of that, because all that's going to do is further deter you from accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish. Because in Galatians, right, this is the thing. For in due season we shall reap. This part of the verse offers encouragement and hope. It assures believers that their efforts will not be in vain. In other words, when you're doing the work, right? One thing that women, this particularly for women, I don't know why they do this. They like to get on that scale every day. And I tell them, I say, hey, listen, I'm going to do your body, because I do your weight. I do all of that. But what we did when you're in my program, Most of the times we only weigh one time a month. Depending on if we had something special going on, we'll do 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, for most women, you lose inches before you lose pounds. Let me say that again. You lose inches before you lose pounds. So what I mean by that is you may have a dress or some pants that at one point in time you weren't able to get in. And when you was at your best size or weight, you were able to get in there. But you may not necessarily be at that weight, but now you can fit that dress or you can fit those pants. Why? Because you lost those inches. I tell them all the time, we want the inches before we want the weight, because if the inches go, guess what's going to follow? The weight in due season. So the weight is going to catch up to where your inches are. But most of the times, it takes a little bit longer for the weight than the inches. And that's why we do the measurements that we do, so that we can capture all of that. So instead of weighing somebody every other day, we do measurement. I used to do measurements twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month. And that shows you that you're losing inches, even though that scale is going to fluctuate. It's going to be like this, like a heartbeat, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And some point in time, it's going to hit a plateau. And then it's going to go up and down, up and down. That's life. That's how it's supposed to go. And so, and the reason why a lot of times why we hit that plateau is because now you got to, what I call, shock the body. The body is amazing, family. The body will adjust and adapt to the conditions that it's in. And so you can plateau and not even know that you plateau and be like, man, I've just been going hard for the last 6 months and it's just like, I just can't go. It's like, I'm just right there. You got to shock the body. That means you got to change up what you're doing. That means you got to do some hit. You got to do something different to cause that, to throw that rhythm off. So that the body be like, oh, you introduced me to something different. I'm doing something new now. So that's going to be later. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I'm just trying to walk you through this thing of commitment and what happens during this process. And so in due season, like we said, you're going to reap. You're going to see the weight come off. You're going to see your body transform and look the way you want it to look from the beginning. But that comes with being committed and consistent. Now, I threw the consistent in there because those are the first 2 that I'm going to hit on. And I told you, and they go in that order: commitment, consistency. They like your right foot and your left foot. Commitment, consistency, commitment, consistency. And every time you take a step with the other one come up, then it's like walking. That's why you got to have those 2 simultaneously working together. Everything else is going to come in on the backside of everything, but they work hand in hand, commitment and consistency. But in due season, as we just said, you will reap if you do not faint. In other words, there is a due season. There's a time appointed by God when we will experience the positive results of faithfulness. So in other words, when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, God will do what he's supposed to do. How that relates to fitness is when you're doing what your coach or your trainer is instructing you to do, there's going to be a time that your positive results are going to come because of your faithfulness to the program and the work that you have put in. Remember earlier I said, if you do anything long enough, you will get results. You could do something wrong and get results. They may be bad results, but you're going to get results. That goes right back into the law of reaping, sowing, and reaping, right? But also it says in Galatians, it talks about if we do not lose heart. So let me read this to you, and I'm giving you the spiritual side, or the spiritual aspect, and then we're going to bring it right back to the physical, right? If we do not lose heart, this condition highlights the importance of perseverance. It is not enough to start well. One must continue to end, maintain, and be motivated despite challenges. Life is about challenges, family. Getting out of bed can be a challenge. right? So just like in Galatians, where it's talking about in the physical, right? And I mean in the spiritual, where it talks about persevering, the same thing in the physical. You're gonna have times where you have to do A, B, and C, and it may cut into your workout time, or you may have a emergency that comes up, and you're not you're not able to exercise during the time that you normally exercise. A lot of times we'll try to say, well, you know what, I ain't gonna worry about that. But what I used to tell people when life started lifing, look for other opportunities to fulfill that obligation. If we're truthful with ourselves, there may be something that comes up during that set. You know, I'm a morning workout person. I love get mine in the morning because it releases them endorphins that helps clear your mind and think, and you know you need it. But some people like to work out in the evenings. But let's say you're a morning person and something happens where you're not able to work out in the morning. Look for an opportunity in the afternoon, that later that evening, a time other than what you normally do, because you can't allow that missed time to allow you to lose heart, allows you to stop your motivation, because you know most time as long as we're consistent, we're motivated. But time, something interrupts that consistency, the motivation level starts dropping, and you go from missing one morning to 2 mornings to 3 mornings to 1 week to 3 months to a whole year, to now you're two people bigger than what you were at one point in time. And now it's harder because now you looking at, man, I've let myself go, and I've allowed issues or not being motivated to hinder me from doing what I knew I was supposed to be doing. And so that's why Galatians is a great scripture, because it tells us, it reminds us to persevere. You're going to have challenges. Life is about challenges. I don't know no person that's living in this earth suit, that's on earth, planet earth, that doesn't have challenges. I don't care how much money they got. I don't care what kind of cars they drive. I don't care what kind of house they live in. I don't care what it looks like. Every person deals with challenges, but it's how you handle those challenges is what's going to determine whether you are successful or not successful. You got some, brother. You good, Marco? You like you had?
Oh yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. So let's keep going. So now, connecting to the spiritual, or connecting to spiritual growth, right? We're talking about Galatians 6:9. This verse is often linked to the concept of sanctification, the process of spiritual growth and maturity. It suggests that spiritual development is not, listen to this part, is not a one-time event, but a journey that requires ongoing effort and reliance on God. Remember earlier when I told you, you asked me, well, what's the difference, or what I've been doing behind the scene? And I told you that GeTFiT challenge is not a fad. It's not a something that just is trending right now. It's not a life, it's not a destiny, I said it's a journey. It's not a destination, but it's a journey. And the reason why it's not a destination is because it's not a one-time event. See, if it was a destination, once you got there, then you just stop. Once you hit your goal, because most people say, well, isn't the goal the destination? That's part of the journey. Because when you get there, you don't stop. Think about it now. The average person will, because that's what they were set out to do. They just want to look like this for the summer, maybe. Get their beach body ready. So it's just not a one-time thing, but a couple of months thing. But that's not what this is about. This is a ongoing journey that we have to continue to make modifications to. We have to continue to commit to it. We have to continue to be consistent with it in all aspects, because as you're committed to it and consistent to it, it's going to give you what you put in it. You're going to get those results. You're going to hit those goals. You're going to get the gains that you want. You're going to get the toneness that you're looking for. You're going to hit the weight loss that you're trying to hit. But understand, when you hit those monumental points, that it doesn't stop. Now you got to figure out, okay, whether I want to stay right here or I want to continue to modify. But the bottom line is, now you got to figure out how to maintain that. And again, it goes right back to commitment. It goes right back to, if I can change your mind, I can change your world. It goes right back to being consistent, having a program, knowing what you're doing before you go to the gym is one of the biggest obstacles that a lot of people have, because they'll go to the gym for 3 hours and only got on three pieces of equipment for about 15, 20 minutes. They spent the other 2.5 hours walking around trying to figure it out. When a person hired me as their trainer or their coach or their mentor, whatever they hired me as, the goal is not to just bark orders at you. The goal is to learn how to get your body to respond so that you're able to do something that you yourself was not able to do. And that's what I used to tell people. That's what you're paying me for, knowledge. But here's the kicker, D1. This is what set me apart from any other trainer. This right here. And I've never heard no other trainer say this. If you were going to be with me for the rest of your life as your trainer, that means I'm doing you a disservice.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell people. My goal is to get you to where you're trying to go, teach you how to get there along the way, and then you employ those skills. Now watch this. Now, I still have clients that I had from day one when I started my program back in 2016. But that doesn't mean that they were constantly with me. See, I get them to a certain point and I put them on what I call autopilot. And every now and again, you know how people get, we get hard-headed, we get stubborn, we fall back. Then you come back to me and I put you through another series of workouts. I build you a program and get you back there again. But that's the thing. You're not with me forever. Because if you're with me forever, that means I'm not doing my job. Think about that. And I pride myself in doing my job. Why? Because guess what? Guess what? That person that just hit their goals, that just hit what they was trying to do, guess what they become for me? A walking billboard. Man, I saw you last year, man, and you was, man, what you doing? Well, let me tell you about my coach. Let me tell you about my trainer. You see what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be. So that is why I said, for me, my person as a person, my goal was to have you for X amount of time, and then getting you to a place where you can step out there and you can go and do those exercises or know your body and know how to get your body to respond. Now, every now and again, of course, each person have different challenges where they're not going to push themselves as hard as a coach or somebody like that. And that's where they'll come back and rehire me for the services again. But for the average person, the average client that I have, they're not with me forever. But they're with me forever, if that makes sense. And so, family, We're gonna take a. I know you got any more questions, DeMarco?
No. Let me see. Well, yes, I did. I apologize. I was just taking in what you were saying. Um, um, man, D gave out a lot of insight on a lot of things that just had me toiling through. Um, One of the questions I wanted to ask you in particular was, which I think you've pretty much answered within your Galatians scripture, is that when it comes to faith in your fitness journey,
Mm-hmm.
particularly your faith in your fitness journey, how would you personally describe it?
You want to know from my aspect?
Yes.
Okay. Um. I love this question. When it comes to my faith and my fitness, um, one thing about me is I believe I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Ephesians 4:5, I believe it is.
Mhm.
Or Philippians.
Philippians.
Yeah,
Philippians.
Philippians. I can do all things through Christ, right? So that relates to my faith, right? There have been things in life that I wasn't able to do, not necessarily because of my faith, primary because I wasn't supposed to do them at that time. So what I've come to learn when it comes to my fitness, if I truly believe that I can do all things through Christ, I have to lean in on him for the plan. Because see, Christ, one thing about Christ, he's going to give you the full plan so that you do it healthy and safe. Now, as a person that doesn't understand fitness or how to properly exercise, there are a lot of bad habits that you may pick up along the way or misconceptions that you may pick up along the way. And that's where my spiritual side kicks in. When I say I can do all things through Christ, I'm referencing the fact of it's him, it's the God in me that's going to give me the abilities to do what I need to do when I need to do it. So if I can't bench press 315 pounds right now,
Right.
I can't get discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
What I have to do is lean in on God, and he will give me a plan that will show me how to bulk up to get to 315 pounds. A lot of times we just want to go in there and just be able to do it because I've been in the gym for X amount of time. I should be able to lift this amount of weight. That's not necessarily true. But as my faith grows, it realigns everything to proper thinking so that I'm able to process through what I need to process to get the most out of what I'm trying to get the most out of, or where I'm trying to hit certain goals or marks to see where I'm at, if that makes sense.
Yeah. One scripture I just wanted to leave that I've thought about when I was as we got ready to do this, and you know, just looking um, in 3 John 1 and 2, it says, "Beloved, I pray that you may go well with you, and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul." Right, and what that tells me is that you know, good good health and fitness, good spiritual health and physical health go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You feel good, you look good, you feel good. That's right, Pickles. And I just, as I've gotten older, um, I've realized that I refuse not to be fit for the Father.
Come on.
I refuse to not be fit for the Father and the things that He will have me to do. You mentioned earlier we do those certain goals for the summer or for the beach or for our birthday and things of that nature. And I'm one of those people that did it. You know what I mean? That you know I did all that for those different time periods in my life, making sure that I was fit and physically fit, and as I possibly could be for those different events. But now I choose to be fit for the Father. You know what I mean? Because I can't see myself not, um, giving him the same effort that I put into the worldly aspect of me being physically fit. And so, man, as you start this rebirth, this journey of Get Fit Challenge, man, I'm looking forward to joining in and being a product, one as you say, one of your billboards of fitness as we go, just like I do with Brother Simon and we do with Sister Tanika, with our mental health, and we do with Brother Simon as far as our financial health. I'm looking to be that walking billboard that throws my hand up in the air, like when I be with Simon, like, hey man, I didn't know, but I know now. And family, I don't know who you are and what your physical health looks like. You're never too old to learn something new, especially when it comes to your physical health. A lot of times I made a mistake of resulting back in the things I've done before when I was in high school, when I was in college, when I was playing arena, when I was in my 30s, even when I was in my early 40s. But, you know, theoretically, I mean, I should have been grown by now. I shouldn't be still in a babe mindset when it comes to my physical health. Am I right, D?
Amen.
And so, man, family, I just want to encourage you to take time out to listen to my brother as he posts. He posts different workouts weekly, and then as he comes on, because he does go live while he's training himself. I've never seen him do it with others, but I know he does it when he trains himself. And that you can, things you can learn. This has been years and years of dedication and growth, and I'm just excited for you, bro.
Amen. Hey, and real quick, if you can, Marco, I just sent you a picture. If you can
Mm-hmm.
get that picture uploaded while I get ready to hit this last point and close us out real quick. I want to bring that up and I want to kind of hit on that a little bit and then I'm gonna close us out.
You talking about the screenshot you sent me in my mouth wide open?
No, 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 no.
I just,
I just sent.
I just joking. I know what you get.
Okay, okay. All right, and then family, to kind of piggyback on my brother, let me give you this application as I close in reference to fitness and we're talking about fitness and the word, right? Let me go. There we go. All right, so application, right? When we're talking about, remember, I'm gonna hit the spiritual side first. So in Galatians 6:9, it causes us to examine our own hearts and motivation. It encourages us to identify areas where we might be growing weary and seek God's strength and guidance to persevere in doing good. And that's the same way it is when it comes to your physical. You have to examine you. You know what I'm saying? You have to really examine you on why you don't want to push your body, why you want to shortcut you, why you want to shortchange you. Because I always say this, and I'm a firm believer in this. You are your greatest investment. That's what I used to tell people when they did their consults with me in reference to their health, and they say, I can't afford. I say, no. I said, well, you either you're gonna afford it now or you're gonna afford it later. Because people with health, they spend all their health trying to gain money. People with money will use all that money to gain health. Why be like that when you can have the life that God has called you to have by taking care of your temple? Because you do know this is the temple, right? This is the one body, the one shot that God gave you to be over you. And so we have to learn and be honest with ourselves in spirit, like the word says, those who worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth, in the spiritual and in the physical. And so I had my brother. Were you able to pull it up?
Man, it won't pull up right now, D.
Okay. So what I had him to do was um like my brother said, Get Fit Challenge is relaunching, right? We're in our second week, day 4 of our 100 push-ups, 150 air squats, 200 crunches, right? Now, to A person that works out, that has constantly been working out, that's nothing. But to a person that needs to reestablish or reacquaint themselves with a workout, trust me, that can be a challenge. And even if you are more advanced, do it. Try doing that workout 3 times a day instead of once, right? But what I was getting at is we have to take baby steps, something that is doable, and build on to that. And that's what I like to do. I always start every person with any kind of workout. Everything that we start with is always something that they're able to do. Why? Because it builds confidence. It builds confidence not just in them, but in what I'm teaching and training and showing them. And you never want a person to not feel confident in what they're doing or in you as a person that's instructing them. So there you go. You can go ahead and make it big and just take me out for a second.
What about your application? I take that out.
Yeah, you can take out everything and just put that week 4 up there if you can. So there it is right there, family. As you see, no, take me out. You can take me out for a minute. Oh, okay. Well, there it is right there. So as you see, we're in week 2, day 4. And this is what we're doing. Like I said, 100 push-ups, 150 air squats, 200 crunches. And like I said, if you're a beginner, just doing that once a day, trust me, is enough. And this is going to be for 4 weeks. We're doing this one workout right here for 4 weeks. Believe it or not, just doing this one workout in 4 weeks, you will see a change in your body. If you do it and you do it correct, you'll see a change in your body. You'll by week 2, like we're in week 2 right now, you should already be stronger. Because I'm gonna tell you, I remember now, I haven't worked out in probably over maybe 2 years. Because remember, I told you I broke my hand, then I broke my leg. So it had been over 2 years. And when I started this workout, week 1, 10 push-ups, 10 push-ups straight was a challenge for me. And I'm just being transparent. The air squats, there wasn't so much a challenge. The crunches weren't so much a challenge. But that next day, my glutes, my calves, my quad, everything was on fire. And remember, I talked to you earlier about are you hurting or are you sore? I was just sore. So what did I do? I did a lot of stretching. And you should always stretch before and after. And I'm gonna go into why you should stretch before and after next time we meet, when I go over the consistency, the second C in our pillars, our 5 C's. So family, um if there are no more questions, D1, are you good? All right, so family, again, and we'll go over a little bit more on eating. I'm not a nutritionist, but I do have general knowledge, and I do have enough knowledge to get you started. But I always point people to connect with a nutritionist, somebody that's their subject of expertise. That's where they, you know what I'm saying? Mine's is not there, but I do have enough of knowledge because of my own body and what I need. And I can tell you generally the proportions and things like that. But to go in the depth like some people need, I would tell you to connect with a nutritionist. So with that being said, I think I've hit on everything that I want to hit on. And we're gonna this Get Fit Challenge. This is gonna be part of what we do regularly. We haven't established how often I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I'm gonna do it monthly yet. Me and D1, we're gonna sit down and kind of chop it up because, like I said, we got so much going on. But we're gonna be coming live regularly, consistently. So whatever we decide, whatever the days, how we do it, it's gonna be consistent. But also make sure you check out my page. You can find me at Get Fit Challenge. You can also follow me on my personal page, Daniel MacArthur Dotson. I also share. I try to post more of my fitness stuff on my fitness page, and I have a page and what's the other one called? A group. I'm sorry. I have a page and a group. So I try to post a majority of my fitness stuff on my page and my group, and then I kind of just share it from my personal page, if that makes sense. So the content is being loaded on my page and in my group. But follow me again on GeTFiT Challenge. You see the logo up top. If you have any questions, just reach out and let's do it, family. Let's do this thing together. Let's start moving our bodies so that we can see the changes that we want to see, not just because a birthday or an anniversary or a wedding or vacation is coming up, but let's start this thing because it's a lifestyle and we want to be healthy and fit for the kingdom, most importantly.
Amen. Amen, family. So if nobody has any questions, let me jump over here real quick. Not right there, right here. Some of this got to break. Some of us got to break that down in the bite-sized segments. What Tanita said. Very informative. Thank you for sharing such detailed information. Absolutely. Okay. Let's have a look.
And you know, and as we go along, I will be more strategic because, like right now, I'm just trying to go through the 5 C's, and it's so much because they kind of all intertwine, but it's so much that even as you're going through your the program, like I tell people when I introduce them to them, I tell them that you're gonna run into these 5 C's while you're in this program, and and you're gonna see how it all comes together. But as we move through this, I'm gonna give you more bite size. But initially, it's just a plethora of information. But again, you can always go back, rewatch it as many times as you need because this information is gonna be there, and we're just gonna continue to add to it. And even if you didn't have a question now, if you think of something later or as you're going back through, send me the question. You can send it here or you can send it on my page. And I'll make sure that I get you the answer that you're looking for. Again, thank you all for joining us for this segment of GeTFiT Challenge. And I look forward to being with you and talking to you again about your health and your fitness.
All right, family. Well, we pray you all have a blessed and favorable day. And remember, it's okay
to be more.
Peace, family.
Peace.